Hi, I'm Josh Wardrop, the editor of Playbill, and I am privileged to be speaking today with Lindsay Krause here at Gloucester Stage Company. We're right on the set of the newest show, Living Together, and I'm just extremely thrilled to have an opportunity to speak with you today.
Thank you.
So thank you for agreeing to do this. Well, let's talk a little bit about how it first started that you got involved in working with Gloucester Stage.
Well, it had been that I would work all during what I would call the school year out in Los Angeles, and then when I came to Massachusetts, I wanted to have a vacation. But it began, you know, reality TV has interfered with those of us that are working in scripted television by taking quite a bit of prime time. So I began to be unemployed at times during the school year, and then in the summer was looking for work. And when Eric decided to become artistic director of the Gloucester Stage, he approached me and said, "Is there something you would like to do?" And I immediately said Belle of Amherst, which was something that I had been dreaming of doing and thought I would never do. So it was an incredible opportunity. And then after I said it, I went, oh my gosh, I'm going to do Belle of Amherst, which is like 90 pages long, and it's a monologue.
The old 90-page monologue, of course.
So then I thought, oh my gosh, what have I done? But it was just a love affair. I had the best time doing it.
That's wonderful. And I would presume, since you have such a familiarity, you know, with this area, and you know, we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but was it an opportunity, had you had much opportunity to come to performances here in the past, and you know, you're familiar with the whole, you know, the vibe? And,
yeah, I'd been at performances before they had air conditioning for many years. It was tough, but you know, it's like, you know, schools that don't have a gym, you know, become basketball champions. There's according to myself, my own humble opinion, good theater as well as good filmmaking comes from not having everything that you need. Because then you become resourceful. And creating something from nothing or from very little is a lot more interesting than having huge production values. It really is. So, you know, this is a very simple theater, and it's a community theater, and to me, it's a very exciting place.
From that initial experience, obviously, things went well, and you wanted to continue. And has it been a show every season since that point? Has it been?
It has. I always say to Eric, you know, thanks for making friends with my parole officer. You know, I don't know why he brings me back, but I'm very happy. I'm not going to question it. Yeah, we've done a number of plays, a number of very different things.
And you know, it's what I think is interesting about it, and you know, you were pointing out all the things that, you know, a smaller scale, more local, more grassroots theater offers you. You know, I think it's always interesting when any theater company, small, large, experimental, alternative, et cetera, is able to kind of forge a relationship with a particular artist, because you do get that opportunity to sort of, from the artist's perspective, I think you get that opportunity to, you know, grow within that company as you get more comfortable and more experienced. And at the same time, you know, the company benefits by having a nice continuity, someone that they can sort of work with. And so maybe just talk a little bit about that idea of sort of, you know, being able to know that you're coming back to a certain place on a regular basis and know that you have that kind of tightness with the...
It's wonderful. It's wonderful because you have a kind of shorthand with people. You trust them. You can work quickly with them. You know that they're going to support you and help you if you get into trouble at any point.
Right.
But mostly it's an atmosphere. I think it's an atmosphere that's created where people are daring to do something together. And sometimes it's risky and sometimes it's frightening. But you're in the arms of the group. And having worked for Eric now for a number of years, I know what he's going to say to me. I know what he's going to tell me to do.
to do it, or do you choose to do something different anyway?
Believe me, I try. I really try to do it because he's a very good director.
Sure.
Yeah, he continues to save me from myself.
Well, what more can you ask, really?
Exactly.
And do you find, I'm curious too, because in addition to having that relationship with the theater, with the company, with the players, with the directors, in a community-based theater like this one, I would imagine there's probably a lot of continuity with the audience as well. Mm-hmm. And have you had an opportunity, since you've been coming back every year and doing this, have you found that, with, audience members that you've been able to sort of connect with? And
Yeah, it's been very interesting because the things that I've done here are very different. And some of them have been very dramatic or dark, powerful. And the play we're doing now and last year, very light, almost, slapstick, commedia dell'arte kind of thing. And I've been fascinated by the audience here. They like a challenge. And, they're not the audience that just wants, kind of the old and dead musicals dragged around on the stage every summer in order to bring grandma or something. They are hip and they are willing to participate in just about any kind of theater here. But what's really fun is, when I walk around town, Gloucester's not that big. People talk to me. I don't know who they are. I've never met them, but people come sit down with me if I'm eating someplace, or they come and talk to me if I'm checking out or whatever, and they said, I really want to talk to you about that going to St. Ives play. That was really interesting. And really,
and she'd like to take this opportunity for the record to ask, please stop. She's trying to eat. She's, I'm kidding, but
it's got this wonderful feeling. I never know what's going to happen when I'm walking down Main Street in Gloucester.
I mean, obviously, the relationship with the theater aside, Gloucester has been a part of your life for pretty
all
much
my
your whole life, right?
All my life.
So, when you do know that the school year is up and you're coming here, talk a little bit about what you get from this environment.
Oh my gosh,
that you don't get elsewhere.
I've tried to describe it to people. Sometimes it's indescribable. It's an extraordinary place. It's beautiful. It's, but it's not like some tourist joint. Because there was this history of the fishing industry, because we have the Portuguese and the Italians and the Finns coming together. This place has and the tough winters and the sea. There's a toughness here also. There's a strength. There's tremendous spirituality here, both from the Catholic side and other faiths that are here. But there's a kind of wonderful vibratory beauty to the place, full of rocks and woods and marshes. But it's evocative. Many, many painters, great painters have painted here, sculptors, people have written here. It's a place that seems to just, creativity arises here. And you feel it. And, you go like this with your fingers to try, and that's kind of how I describe it. It's like by the nose, you know it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the current show, about Living Together. Now, this is the second in the Norman Conquest trilogy. So it's to me, I think what's really interesting about it is that you get back together with the same cast from last year, which, I mean, where does that happen? I mean, where do you get that opportunity to sort of, it's like, okay, well, we're gonna take the year off, and then everyone just meet back here, and we'll so that to me says something about exactly what we've been talking about the spirit of what this theater is all about, and the way people enjoy working here and working together. Talk about what it must be like to sort of have that opportunity to sort of reconvene with.
Well, Eric, when I talked to him about doing the second play, he said, "Oh, I don't think we're going to get the cast together again." So he sent out an email, and everybody within minutes said, "Absolutely, we're coming back." whether you're there or not, we're coming back. So what's so much fun with this
it's
play...
not me, obviously. Okay.
What's so much fun with this play is, this is, I think, a work of genius. I do not know how Alan Ayckbourn did it, where he took, this one weekend with these characters, this dysfunctional British family, and he took out the scenes that happened in the dining room, the scenes in the living room, and the scenes in the garden, and he had those stand on their own as plays. I saw this with a fabulous British company all in one day. Oh, okay. A very New York experience where we were holed up there with our sandwiches, and it was great. It was great. But, it is wonderful. We love each other. We adore each other, this company. And they're wonderful actors. They're really good actors. And you learn from each other so much.
So is it presumptuous to say that next season is the third installment, or are we...
Well, Eric's not here, so we should definitely say yes.
Okay. There we
It's
go.
just like electing the equity deputy. He's not here, so he's it.
Then he has to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, people on Main Street have said, you're going to do the third one, right?
Well,
so
if you
I'm
ever
going to
wanna-
have a petition,
Right, and if you ever want to go and have a sandwich in peace again, you're
That's
obviously going to have to be able to
They're
say,
going to be
"Listen,
mad.
round and round the garden is next. It's coming, you can...
Either that or we're going to rent somebody's garden. And
What else have you got planned at this point? I'm imagining, is this now going to be a summer vacation after this play ends? And beyond that, what do you have sort of coming up or in the pipeline that you can talk about?
Well, I'm starting to write a book.
Oh.
And I teach Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and I run a huge retreat in August where people come from all over the world. And so that's kind of a theatrical event. And I teach there and have an extraordinary Lama who comes and teaches there. And I'm writing a book that combines Buddhism and acting, using acting as a metaphor. And
So nonfiction?
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.